So guys, this video will be the start of the shell coding section. In this video, we will be looking at the theory of the shell coding. So there is no exact definition for the shell code, but shell code can be defined as the code that executes on the victim's machine and gives us the reverse shell. This shell code is the code that is being executed on the victim machine, and after execution we get the reverse shell. And the code need not be the reverse shell all the time. It can be bind shell or a calculator. But in order to take advantage of the victim's machine, we generally write the reverse shell code. If you have used the Metasploit, you will be probably known about how to create using MSF Venom. You put the lhost, lport and all those options, and you will create the either bind shell or reverse shell or whatever shell code you need. So that's how you create using the MSF Venom. You just enter the command and you will get the shell code. And the process of writing the shell code is called shell coding. Of course, as similar to process of writing program is called programming, in the same way process of writing the shell code is called shell coding. Now there are some properties you need to know. Shell code should be as rest size as possible, because the application's buffer of the victim's machine limits the size of the buffer. That means you can only press 400 bytes or 500 bytes. You cannot press more than that. So there will be some limitations when you are doing the stack based buffer overflows. That's why we need to code the shell code as rest size as possible. Also, shell code should be free from bad characters. Okay, these are not any bad characters in nature, but these are the bad characters for us, for attackers. Let's see the examples of bad characters. That is 00, which is null byte, 0a, 0d. This 0 is called /n, that is new line we have seen in the hello world programming. And this d is the /r, which is the carriage return. So why are these bad characters? So in applications, they process the string, that means user input like username or password. They will be in the string format, right? And then if you press /00, this null byte will act as a string terminator. That means if you pass 50 characters and a null byte and then 50 characters, first 50 characters will take into the buffer, and application on seeing this null byte, the application stops processing taking the input of the string. That means it will take only the first 50 bytes, and the string after this null byte will get truncated or will not be taken as an input by the application. So in this case, after the null byte, our string is getting cut off. That's why if we include this null byte in our shell code, obviously our shell code will not get executed fully, and we does not get any reverse shell. So this null byte is almost called universal null byte, because even every application processes the strings and considers this as a null byte. And 0a, 0d will be used commonly in web applications using web servers. In the web servers, when the request or response is being processed, when the request is processed, you say get /http/1.1 or 1.0, and then you give the /r/n. So by putting this /r/n, that web application treats as a single request, and after this /r/n, the input will not be considered into the application. So that's why you need to avoid these two characters in the web applications. Also, you need to exclude these characters, because this is like universal bad character, and these two are the bad characters for web applications. So these are the main properties you need to consider when coding a shell code.